Awesome. So welcome, Amy. I'm so excited to be talking to you today. I am Jamy Schumacher, and I am the co-facilitator of within the Temple of Armella, bringing new womb spiral apprentices through their mentorship program. And Amy was in our last round in the Temple of Armella. So welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to come chat with me today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm enjoying being here.
Awesome. Awesome. So I just wanted to take a moment, first of all, to get your take on what it was like to spend 6 months in this container in the Temple of Armella, kind of journeying the womb gates and connecting with a new group of women that, we all kind of journeyed closely together. So I would just love to hear what that experience was like for you.
It is so much. And I mean, and I say so much in the sense that I couldn't comprehend mentally coming into it what to expect. I just knew that my body was bringing me into the temple, and I'm just like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing. Let's go.
Here we go. Yep.
Yeah. And what had happened prior to that was I had booked a couple of sessions with, some clients had booked in with me earlier in the year, and like I think it was like end of December, beginning like January and February time frame. And what was coming, it was interesting, what was coming up was they were having issues in their relationships or their partnerships. And it was just a smack in the face, like, here's what you get to do this year.
Yes.
And I was just like, okay, let's go with it. And so coming into the temple, I knew that was why I was there. It was, to come home to myself, and also, be working on relationships this year. And coming in, there was relationships I thought that were going to be ending, which actually were reignited through journeying through the temple and the program. And, those relationships just, in a way, the old versions had to die. And so that's the place that I wasn't coming in. I was like, okay, I need to get okay with myself to be able to move through this big transition that could be happening, because that's where I'm at right now. And so coming into the temple and journeying the temple and journeying the gates, it was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing. And it completely shifted my perspective. It completely shifted my, how I was observing my relationships and who I was and how I was reacting within them. And so feeling deeply held, deeply nourished, and deeply supported throughout the whole process was profound for me. I have never been in a container with this much support and this much, like, I'm not really hand holding either. It's just like, okay, you're this is what we're going through, and this is what we're moving through as a group, as a community. And I just felt so relaxed in my body, knowing that I could bring up anything in the spaces, and that I was safe, and that I could trust the space, and that I could just open up and just allow everything to just come out, because it needed to be spoken, it needed to be said. And this space was exactly what I needed and more.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think you and I have similar journeys in that relationship thing. As we find with women in our lives, we can find ourselves in synchronistic spaces in our lives. So I'm curious, what was your biggest takeaway through this 6-month mentorship? And I know that, we get to journey through several times in order to really integrate the gates as apprentices for carrying the womb spiral work. But this particular journey, what was your biggest takeaway from the container?
It was feeling at home and at peace within myself, and really being able to stand strongly in my own convictions and my own boundaries. And that was a huge thing coming through it as well. I was learning how to set these boundaries that I had no idea I could, or that I needed to. I wasn't raised in a family that had strong boundaries. You know, it was more like, okay, you know, you do what we say and that's it. There's no, I couldn't give feedback in my family, and I couldn't give, you know, I couldn't use my voice. I was silenced, I was hushed. I was like, okay, you know, I was the child where it's like you tell the child what to do and the child just does it. And so that was the role that I played. And so, and again, and then that's how my relationships were. It's how I operated in the world as an adult. And I was just like, this is not okay. This doesn't feel okay. And it's, you know, I've got to do something about it now. And so really developing that strong sense of self within myself, it's changed everything. It's changed. That's what changed, you know, my relationships. That's what's changed everything in my life and how I operate my life now today.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, hearing you talk about boundaries, it's really hard to not feel resentful in a relationship if you don't have a strong sense of self and a strong awareness of your boundaries and ability to communicate them. It really does change everything.
Yeah. And I mean, just the turmoil and the agitation and anger and outbursts and reactiveness within our family has completely dissolved. It's not there anymore.
So
we have these conversations, we're open, and we're saying what we feel in the moment, and we're checking in, like, what is going on, because this doesn't feel that, you know, there feels like there's an incongruence, and I want to make sure it's not me. And I want to make sure that there's nothing in between us, that it's just something that either you're dealing with or I'm dealing with, and it's completely separate from us interacting and us being in space together.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So with those takeaways, you know, I mean, part of the reason that we're having this conversation is really to allow people that might be curious about the Temple of Armella or considering becoming a womb spiral practitioner, some insight, you know, into what the journey is like. So I'm curious if you have, like, who would you recommend this container to? Like, what type of woman, or maybe where are these women at in their lives that this container could really serve them?
Oh, honestly, when it first comes out, I want to say
I know.
really, like everybody I think could benefit from journeying this. But, you know, as women, and the, you know, the struggles and the conditioning and the things that we go through in life in general as women in this time and space that we're in, I believe that in order to create those open conversations and relationships, to decondition ourselves from how we were raised, you know, just having that, you know, and as women, we give, right? We give and we give and we caretake, and we just want to make sure that everyone around us has what they need. And we put those needs ahead of our own so many times. And even having been through this process, I can still feel when I'm putting someone else's needs ahead of my own, but it feels different this time. It feels like I'm actually caring for them from my heart space, not from a feeling of I have to. It's an obligation. And so I think as women, you know, I think this work is critical to our own evolution, to our development, and then also being able to raise our families in a healthy way, because our children, right? Our children are they're just ready. They're ready to learn. They're ready to just take in everything, and they have so much to teach us. So when we can get out of our own way and clear all that stuff that we believe we have to be as mothers, or you know, mothers to children, or mothers to, you know, whatever you're mothering in your life. It could be anything. It could be your business. It could be actual children. It could be other people's children that you take care of too. You know, there's so much conditioning that we have that we just need to strip it away so that we can remember who we truly are and be able to operate from that space of love and devotion and, you know, honoring the people in our lives, no matter where they're at.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I would love to ask you specifically, how has this changed your relationship with your kids? I know when I went through, that was my relationship to my partner, and my kids were where I saw like the biggest transformation in my own life. And so I'm curious, you know, as a mother yourself, and a wife, like how specifically has this particular process and this journey changed those relationships?
My relationship with my kids is a lot more calmer. I'm not pushing them to do this or act in this way, or to help with the household in this way, or take care of their rooms in that way. I used to yell a lot. Like I would lose my shit all the time, and it's just like, and then it's an explosion. Oh shit, mom's mad, and what is she gonna do? She's tearing through the house, and I'm in my feminine rage, and I'm just like, I don't care about anything or anyone. This is how I feel, and everyone is going to respond to it.
Yes.
Because right now I've had it.
Yep.
And now I can approach these situations, or these when they're trying to push back at me. Sure. And because they're coming into an age, my daughter especially, she just turned 9, so she's coming into an age where she's wanting to claim her, she's always been super independent, but really claim her independence and really say, this is what I want, this is what I'm okay with, and this is what I'm not.
Yeah.
And I get to now, having been through this process, I get to honor that in a way that I didn't before. And so it's much more gentle parenting, much more conscious parenting, and being able to hear them and hear what they say, and sharing how they're feeling, and then teaching them how to navigate their feelings and how to come from a place of groundedness where we're, okay, let's calm down, right? Let's shake out the whatever's happening and going on, and let's come back to a place of center so we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
I am having the most beautiful conversations with these little beings, and it's so profound.
Yeah.
And then I get to say all the things, and whether they're listening or not, tuning me out, or I've got to a point where they're just like, I've had enough. And it's okay. I'm just like, okay, they've had their fill. I can keep talking. It'll get into their subconscious, and that's okay. It'll come up when it needs to.
Exactly.
Being able to have those conversations. And I want to say, having the conversations with their friends.
Yes.
When their friends are over and something's happening, I get to sit them down and be a lighthouse or an adult in their lives that says, hey, let's look at it from this way. And how can we all come back together, and let this be a beautiful experience that we can learn from, so that next time we know how to kind of handle that situation.
Absolutely. It's like taking that idea of cycle breaker to a whole nother level. It's like not just within ourselves, but the way that we are raising our kids to respond to life. That's really beautiful. I've noticed the same thing in, like with my daughters. I have 2 daughters. And so like the sisterhood stuff comes up a lot too, like seeing the way that their friendships work, and the way that we even get conditioned to treat each other as women, from such a young age, and getting to kind of interject in these very early years of bringing us back to supporting each other and loving each other, and learning how to move through our own triggers with each other, and all of that good stuff.
And how beautiful is it when a trigger comes up, we can recognize it as a trigger and be like, okay, let me just step back and deal with this, and we're going to come back and then have a conversation, because I've got some things going on, and I got to deal with them.
I always think about it as like changing the tide. It's like the current is currently moving in one direction of like mothers giving, and then we're setting that example for our kids that they have to give forward, as opposed to recognizing, actually, if we take care of ourselves first, we can love, more fully and more wholly from that place. I love it. I think that our journeys are so parallel. It's lovely to watch it reflected.
I know we've had some conversations about similar paths, that
parenting and marriage, right?
Oh my God, I love it. And I get to look to you, and I get to see, how you've progressed and how things have shifted for you. And I'm just like, that's what I want. I recognize something. I'm like, that's the piece that I want. So then I'm asking, how do I get that? What do I need to learn? What do I need to clear? What do I need to process so that I can open that space up?
And I think it's what we all want. I think we really do want peace and connection in our lives, and we just don't know how to get there oftentimes,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Just the not knowing that we don't know.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
don't know what we don't know.
Right.
Beautiful. So if there are women who are contemplating this, maybe there's a woman who's watching this, or several women watching this and thinking, oh, I do that with my kids too. Or, I'm in this place where, like, do I want to stay married or not stay married? Like so many of us are in that place, right? Big things shifting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're watching us, and they're contemplating maybe leaning into the Temple of Armella, whether it's, at a membership capacity, or considering even becoming a womb spiral practitioner. What advice would you give them in this process of, whether or not this might be a space for them?
I want to speak specifically to the relationship piece, and women who may be contemplating, changing the direction of their relationship, possibly splitting, or, do they really want to, or are they open to, healing what needs to be healed and then responding at that point? If you're in that place, because that's exactly where I was, I couldn't make the decision. I was like, something has to happen. Something has to change. I don't know how to do it right now. I'm not equipped for it. So I have two options. Either we're going down a separation, and I surrendered, and I had to surrender into divorce being, my next step. And I really had to surrender. I was on my knees, bawling tears, right? Just the heartache, just can feel my heart breaking in that moment. And just, show me the love that I am.
Yes.
Those were the words. Just show me the love that I am. Show me the path so I can do what I need to do, because I still feel like this is fixable. Like I still feel this connection. And like, if we can just get past this, if we can get through it, if we can heal, whatever, I could feel that there was just this wall that I needed to bust through so that we could get to a different place. Or do I just say, okay, there's the wall, and I walk away? And then what? Am I okay with the aftermath? Am I okay? And so that was the place I needed to get to within myself, like just to be okay no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And through that surrender, I was able to get clarity, open conversations, and, and then really explore, like, is this our path? Are we going to separate? Are we going to part ways? Are we going to put parenting plans in place? And there's like all of the stuff, right? Or can I do this work on myself and have that be enough to open a conversation and have the healing kind of radiate from that space?
Yeah.
And so I want to say to the woman who's watching this, if you're in this space and you're contemplating whether you need to go one direction or another, get into this container, because it's going to bring you the clarity, and it's going to bring you the confidence within yourself to make that decision and be able to take the steps necessary to heal your family, whether it's through separation or coming back together. Either way, there needs to be a healing, and it's up to you.
Yeah. Beautiful. You and me both were, in that space of like surrendering because the way it wasn't working. And I think that we're both very blessed in the fact that we both found our way back to connection with our partner, and are experiencing that connection on a whole new level, more pleasure, more
amazing.
joy,
just being able to
all of it.
sit with each other, and just being able to sit with each other and not have anything, not feel like there's something between us, like something that needs to be dealt with, or some kind of incongruence. We can just sit in silence on the couch or watching a movie or anything, and we're okay sitting there with each other. And it's beautiful. I'm just like, I feel so calm. I feel so much at peace. My family is in harmony now.
I love
and that has like, it just, I can't even, I don't even have words. And so,
I'm right there with you.
And I'm so excited to go through this journey again, to journey through the temple, because where I was and where I am now is just, I'm completely transformed and changed, and so much has changed that I'm like, now I get to focus, I have a little bit of a different focus, because I feel that this second round is going to birth me into my
Yes.
practitioner, where I don't feel quite ready to take women through it right now. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. And I get to journey again, go deeper within myself, because now this is a deeper healing for me, and who I want to work with, who do I want to take through, who is the woman that's going to be looking to me to guide her. Yeah. Because she's she's going through something similar that I am, and I'm ready for that now.
And I can feel your readiness too. I'm so excited. Yeah. Awesome. Are there any final words that you would like to share with anybody that might be watching or listening to this in their contemplation of joining us on the next journey?
If this is just a moment where you need to just drop in, close your eyes, drop into yourself, into your heart, into your womb space, whether you feel connected or not, because I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't feel connected to my womb prior to. Yeah, I'm like, what? There's things in there like that affects me? What do you mean?
Right.
For babies. Like I had babies there. Yeah. Like that's what it's for. So really dropping into self, to soul, and into your center. And asking, right, is this my path? Is this going to give me the clarity that I'm seeking? Is this my make or break moment? Yeah. Right. Like when I made the decision, it was my make or break moment. It was my last resort. Like if this doesn't help me, if I can't help myself through this, then it is what it is. Yeah. Right. Then that's the path that I choose. Yeah. But this container, and once you're in it, once you've hit that button, and once you've said yes, the temple Armella surrounds you, and she envelops you, and she brings you in, and that feeling of safety and security with women and within sisterhood, that it will carry you through no matter what. And being able to have these women to talk to outside of the program as well is just that right there. I think that is the to send a message maybe in the middle of the night, or just sharing what's kind of alive for me in that moment, and just being able to express it and have it be received by women and it's cared for by women is just, I mean, it really shifts the way we experience sisterhood and life in general. Absolutely. Beautiful. I just really want to expand on one more thing, because you and me both did find our way back to connection in our marriages, but I feel like you brought up a really important point, that if that's not, because obviously a partnership requires two people, and if it doesn't end up back in that space, I think that this process also brings us back to a sovereignty within ourselves. And like you said, we're okay with whatever happens. That is liberating in and of itself, that we don't need a certain outcome, but we actually can just surrender to what is in the highest good of our own personal journey. So and I was able to tap into, what do I want in a partnership? It's like, what do I want? What do I want to feel? How do I want to be treated? How do I want the conversations to go? And so it wasn't about changing anybody. It was about, what do I want? And then allowing that knowing to just kind of ripple out, and then the energy shifts and it changes course. And then I'm surprised by conversations opening. I'm surprised and delighted by the way we now get to respond to each other. And I was surprised when I would bring things up and they were well received, and then it opened conversation, and I'm just like, okay, this is new. And it's exciting. It's almost like we were getting to know each other for the first time without all of our stuff. And this was our 9th year. This is our 9-year anniversary. And so I'm like, this is a 9-year. Cycles, either something's cycles ending. So I thought it was the marriage, but it wasn't the marriage. It was who we were in the marriage. Oh, I love that so much. And then we get to be like newlyweds again. I know. I'm just like, oh, this is so much fun. How this? Okay, I think this is the secret. I think it is. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to talk with me and sharing your experience.
with me and with anybody else that might be listening. And I look forward to the next 6 months that we get to spend together in the temple.
So juicy.
Awesome. If anybody is interested in more information, you can reach out to me, and I bet Amy would actually be happy to answer questions as well. Or reach out to Zafaria, or anybody in the container, and we are all happy to support you and answer any questions and give you as much information as we can. So much love to you, Amy, and to anybody watching. Mwah.
Thank you, Jamy.
Yes.